1994. And whereas Ms. Wallace has been named the 2013 Education Professional of the Year, and whereas Ms. Wallace obtained her education in nursing from St. Peter's College, New Jersey City State College, and St. Vincent's Hospital School of Nursing, and whereas prior to receiving a diploma and certification in nursing, she also attended and graduated from Stonehill College with a degree in English, and whereas Ms. Wallace actively participates in several professional and community organizations such as Tri Dignitas Society, Nightingale Society, Sigma Theta Chi, Seagirt Junior Women's Club, Seagirt Library Board, and Girl Scout Troop Number 98. And whereas she has also spent many hours throughout her career volunteering with the Memorial Sloan Kettering Institute of Cancer Research and coordinating children's programs in patient libraries and playrooms. And whereas Ms. Wallace should also, and where Ms. Wallace also ran in the New York City Marathon in 1993. And whereas in the wake of Superstorm Sandy, Mary Pat Wallace worked tirelessly to ensure that Belmar Elementary students and families received necessary resources and was a passionate advocate for Belmar families suffering from the destruction of the storm. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar and all the residents of Belmar hereby honor and congratulate Mary Pat Wallace for her many achievements, her outstanding career as nurse for Belmar Elementary School, and for being chosen and honored as the 2013 Education Professional of the Year.
Would you like to say something?
Just thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be part of Belmar. So I'm sure she'll be in tomorrow.
Do you want to say anything else? No?
I really just thank you, but there's no way that I can speak in front of.
That's okay. And thank you, Mr. Holmes, for attending.
Yes.
Appreciate it very
Yes,
much.
thank
Could I
you.
just make a quick
Absolutely.
comment?
Oh, of course. Please do.
Mrs. Wallace, this is the first time that someone that's not a teacher was selected, and when we created the committee, the parents made a point to bring up Mrs. Wallace and say, can we please honor someone that's not a teacher? And I said, sure. And both parents selected Mrs. Wallace and talked about specific situations of the way that she works with the students and providing a nurturing environment. And I think all of the parents trust you and feel that they can come to you at any time. So thank you very much from the students and the parents of Belmar.
For those of you who don't know, Mr. Holman is superintendent principal of the Belmar School. We have nothing on the workshop today.
Would you like me to bring something up?
Shirley.
The Birdsall, I'm thinking maybe we need a review on our relationship with Birdsall. I just wanted everybody's input as part of a workshop session with all the events that happened in the last 2 days.
With regard to the issues surrounding Birdsall. Well,
Correct. We have a lot of projects with them open, and I don't know, they just want to talk about it and see what direction you all feel we should be going.
well, here's my sense. I think that since they're very much involved with present projects, that we should see those projects through with Birdsall and then reassess.
Okay.
That's my feeling. I understand your position, and I respect it, but I think because they have set up all of these projects that we are now involved in, with all the buildings on the ocean, I think we should just wait and then sit down, reassess, and have it perhaps in closed session, some kind of a meeting. So, anyone else?
Jim, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, they certainly are getting some bad press. You know, I guess it's in the court system, so I don't know if we can really talk about it now or make a decision now until after the court case. But over the years, I don't think we can really complain about the work that they've done for us. I mean, Birdsall Engineering and Belmar go back many, many years, and I don't know of a bad project that they are associated with as far as their work goes. So in that respect, I have no complaints about projects they've done for Belmar. I agree with you. It's in the paper, it's in the courts. Let's let it run its course, and then anything's open for discussion, sure.
Jennifer, do you have a comment?
No, I agree with Brian. I think it's a little bit early to make any type of decisions. Again, especially if we are underway with so many projects. This would be a little out of line to make some moves.
Counselor, with the judge freezing of their assets, what impact could that have on us as a town and our projects? Any thought, any idea?
Well, you'll have to excuse me, I guess I didn't read the paper today.
Colleen can address
We've had
that.
many conversations with Birdsall today, and even with emergent events, as of today, their payroll is continuing, they're paying their bills, and so they are operational.
So that's something we can look to. Anything else for workshop? Any petitions to be brought before the council this evening? Okay, we will start with our reports of mayor and council with our councilman, Brian McGovern.
Thank you, Claire. Just three things. Tomorrow, the Shade Tree Commission, along with some of the Environmental Commission members, we're going to meet with a gentleman that contacted us because we still have open a $3,000 grant for a community forestry plan for the town of Belmar. This is good news because I thought the plan expired last year, but apparently it is still open, and they've extended the deadline to June for us. This gentleman is very well respected in setting up a community forestry plan, and he'll come into town with the help of the Environmental Commission and the Shade Tree Commission, and he'll get the plan certified through the state, tell us what we need to do as far as street trees, park trees, anything that obviously needs to be done with the trees, and this will allow us to be eligible for more grant money that would allow us to buy trees, prune trees, and identify hazardous trees that might need to be taken down. I know, being on the Shade Tree Commission, last couple of months I got many phone calls from people who want the tree in front of their house between the sidewalk and the street be taken down. It's uplifting their sidewalk. The tree is leaning. So this gentleman coming in now is going to be a big help for Belmar. So if we can get this $3,000 grant, as I said, it is a grant, as long as he gets help from the Shade Tree Commission and Environmental Commission people. So I'll get back to you as the plan moves along. Also, I understand that soon it's the growing season is upon us. I think pretty soon the Silver Lake redevelopment is going to be happening. I do know that some of the plans for around Silver Lake, the cinder path is planned to come back. On the water side of the path, they plan on planting wildflowers to improve the habitat for the fish and the birds. On the street side of the cinder path, grass that will be very resistant to lack of water, direct sun, and apparently they selected a type of grass that does not taste good to geese, so that could control some of the geese. And they do have plans to plant over 70 trees around Silver Lake, so that's good news, real good news. At our last Shade Tree Commission, did have a gentleman from, I believe it was Maplewood Road. He contacted us, and he's encouraging 2 or 3 of his neighbors, along with himself, to start replanting trees in front of their house. Since the storm, quite honestly, tree has become a 4-letter word to a lot of people. And it's, it's one of those things where we encourage people to plant the trees because it's good for the environment, but, when it comes to a storm, they do some damage. But going back to the forestry plan, we'll be able to tell the neighbors when they call us, or if they want to plant trees, what trees to plant, where to plant them as far as underneath the wires or across the street where there are no wires, different kinds of trees to plant. So this is all good news. One more thing, we have a new recreation director. I do not envy him this past year with, he ran the basketball program very, very well with all the problems with the getting off to a late start and the gym being closed down for different times. And now he's got an Easter egg hunt this Saturday on the beach that's not fully developed yet. For 30 years I had an Easter egg hunt and I had 4 different entrances to the beach where I could send to 4 different sections. So he's got a real tough time, but he's gonna get a nice day for this Saturday. It's gonna be in the 50s, it's gonna be sunny. So he's sitting in the back right there. Ray, Claudio, can you stand up? And if you talk to him, he might tell you where he's gonna put the gold egg. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman. Councilman Dean.
Thank you, Councilwoman President Claire. Thank you. Did we get any more money from FEMA?
So Mike, I'm going to report on that from the way
Oh.
we did. We got $2 million received so far by FEMA, and that goes against our debris package.
We got, that was the one we talked about, so nothing since then?
Yeah, that's how much we got so far.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on with the SID? Does anybody have any idea what's going on with the SID? Are they bringing up another budget, or
We have not yet been approached about rescheduling.
does they, I think their budget expires in the first quarter, which is the end of March. So it just expires? Everybody know?
I don't know, correct? Okay, so just,
Okay, I'd like to talk about the, our new rec director. Is he permanent, or is it going back out for bid?
not bid.
Or, I'm sorry,
He is now in an active capacity while we notice the position, which we have done in the CoStar. We will have a notice here at Borough Hall. We will collect resumes over a 2-week period and make our decision and deliberation then.
is he the only person that was hired, I'll say improperly, by our ordinance?
To my knowledge, yes.
So how many did we, so the police officer that we hired was advertised properly and?
Everything has been done in accordance with civil service and collective bargaining unit.
And it was published in the paper and all that?
I'll have to check if that was posted. I'm not sure if that needs to be posted in the paper. It's a civil service position. So
Okay.
those postings are handled by civil service.
Okay. For the record, I just want to go on the record and say that if we had other employees that were hired improperly by the procedures set forth in the Belmar manual, Belmar ordinance manual, I think everybody would have to go back out for bid, or just come out and say, look, we messed up. Going forward, we're going to do it properly and let everybody keep their position. I don't think it's fair that we just pull out just a rec director because he's the most recent person.
It's the one that's set to my attention.
But if you know of other ones, shouldn't
You know,
you know no other employees? You know how many employees were hired in the last year?
employees could be anything from dozens and dozens of beachfront staff workers to temporary employees who helped us through the storm.
I don't think we paid temporary employees during the storm, did we? Did we actually hire temporary people during the storm?
Sure we did.
Okay. It says here, the position covered under this section include any position for which a salary, wage, or other reimbursement is offered. I just want the rules to be followed. That's all I want. And I don't think it's fair that we're pulling out the rec director. I think either do everybody or do no one, and just let's follow these going forward. That's all I want to say.
Colleen, I'm sorry.
Can I just comment really very quickly? When Kevin Gann was hired, we had several interviews, did we not?
Yes.
We did. And one of the people who had applied was Ray Claudio.
Yes.
So rather than interview everyone again, I think to expedite matters with all that we have going on with recreation, that we named him. I myself didn't see a need to re-interview, since we've already had interviewed several people, as I recall, and rather re-interview, we took the person that we thought would be best for the position at this time, because we have so many activities, so many events that go through that office. So I think that that decision was the right decision. I think in the future we should advertise, there's no question about it. But at this point, I think he's a good choice. I think he was interviewed along with others initially when Kevin Gann had the job. So that's my stand.
So then, let's not re-advertise it. I mean, it says here, if we could all do a unanimous, the mayor, if you read it, we can all do a unanimous consent of borough council. Can we do that and let him in?
Why not?
Why not?
You can do that.
Shirley, thank you.
Okay, did we already send the advertisement
Yes.
out?
Advertisement has been sent.
Is it gonna be published tomorrow?
I would bet. So, Frank.
Okay, then you shouldn't do it.
Colleen, can I just try to explain to the audience
Sure.
kind of what happened? Last year, in 2011, we promoted the recreation director, Mike Campbell, to become supervisor of the Department of Public Works. We advertised for the recreation position, of which we received about 40 applications. The mayor and I narrowed it down to about 20. We interviewed about 20 applicants. We called 5 back for a second interview. We selected Tina Connolly. Tina Connolly, this year, late in the fall, told us that she was going to be leaving. This second person that would have been behind Tina had a full-time job. So we went back to those people that we interviewed last year. Kevin Gann was one of them.
Yeah.
We selected Kevin Gann. And I sat in that meeting, and I was quite sure that Kevin, being about a 25-year-old, was going to be the recreation director for about the next 25 years. 30 days later, Kevin says he got another job, he's taking another job. Now we're on the end of the basketball season, getting ready for the Easter egg hunt. So what we did was the basketball director, not the recreation director, the basketball director was Ray Claudio. He had been working for us for during the basketball season, was doing a real good job. We needed someone to fill out Kevin, because Kevin's gone. Kevin's gone. We have an Easter egg hunt this Saturday. We couldn't possibly interview someone and then say, oh, by the way, you have to hide 3,000 eggs on the beach by this Saturday. Okay? Now, it turned out that we did that kind of improperly, probably because we were pushed to do it quick. I'm fully happy with re-advertising for the position and doing it right, and let Ray interview. But we didn't do anything to kind of slide Ray Claudio in there.
And let me express, I've done a lot of hiring in the state of New Jersey. I've done a lot of hiring, civil service, of union workers. And my experience in the state of New Jersey has vastly been that if it's an unclassified, unaffiliated position, such as the rec director, no public notice is required. I was unaware and probably should have assumed that Belmar has an ordinance that speaks directly to unclassified, unaffiliated, full-time members. That was my bad. I didn't catch it. And, I do believe we have a fantastic rec director in the position now acting. And I have great faith that his talents will be clear after the first year.
I think, I'm sorry.
I was just also going to state, obviously the Easter egg hunt is extremely important and a huge task, but there are ongoing other recreational activities constantly. There's toddler time, there's Belmar Youth Club, there's the ending of the basketball, there's the softball and baseball season. It's just not the one Easter egg hunt. So I don't think it would have been advantageous. I think it would be detrimental if we had waited to fill the spots because of all the activities, the families and the children that they affect. So I do support hiring Ray for this position.
If all this information could have been relayed, a week ago before the meeting, so I think it would have went a lot smoother, and a lot of these questions could have been answered.
Sorry, I thought I had shared this with you guys on Friday when we talked.
Friday talked, and then talked to
I
him.
mean, when this issue came to our attention on Friday, I emailed, did you my response? Yeah.
I just got a response that we did do it improperly, but, what Councilman McGovern explained would have been much more information than what I had. So, okay.
My response, when I found out from Kevin Gann was, "What, are you kidding me?" Because I knew the toughest part about the recreation is the transition periods, when you're going from one program to another and you got a special event mixed in there. And that's exactly where we were. We had the end of the basketball season with the awards night and preparation for the Easter egg hunt and the registration for Little League. I mean, was an intense time, and Ray was working, and he has been working in the library for us for a while, right?
Yes.
So, and he, did a good job, but we were caught by surprise by the one recreation director suddenly giving us notice.
And not to be disrespectful, but I think everything that Brian just covered, you have been aware of. Like, I think you were aware of Tina, you were aware of hiring with Kevin, you're aware of the interviews that were done, so, and the email that Colleen had sent on Friday. So I think, as of today, I think you were very much brought up to speed on it, so.
I found out the second person being hired, Kevin, I think at the meeting,
Which meeting?
Well,
at one of the council meetings.
I didn't get the email.
can we,
from
yeah,
Colleen? Okay, just checking.
all right. Go ahead.
This wasn't me, actually, a citizen emailed all of us, and all I did was just ask some questions, I'm not.
That's fine, and that's your right. Do you have anything else for us?
Yes, one more thing, our website, I try to get more stuff off of it today, is it gonna be updated, a lot of the links don't work, can we update it at all? Can our web guy look at it again? Do we have a contract with them, are they doing anything with it? Can we tell him to change stuff, he's gonna change it, it's gonna cost us more, how does it work?
No, we can work with them to do some updates, absolutely.
Okay, and the mayor has his Twitter account on the front page, and it's his personal Twitter account. Can I put my Twitter account up there? Put the mayor account that I can't? Belmar has a
Some of these
Facebook
issues-
page,
Some of
no
these
problem.
issues predate me, so I'd be happy to look into how it happened.
Okay, so I have, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman?
I do not have a Twitter account, thank God. I don't even know what it is, but anyway. My updates for today, I have Belmar Recreation. The Belmar Youth Club ended Sunday, March 24th, and it was a very successful program again, 2 years in a row, and it continues to grow. The final toddler time was March 21st. The basketball season was over, there was an awards night, it was great, it was attended by a large amount of children, and they received certificates and all sorts of awards and cupcakes, so it was an exciting evening. There also was the Hot Shot contest that was held on March 9th. The Easter egg hunt, as you know, is this Saturday at 11 a.m. There will be a Women's Health Expo in the gym Saturday from 12 to 4, and Council President Dyke will give you more information on that. Also, Saturday evening from 6 to 9 p.m., there will be the Circle of Friends dance. We discussed that quite often last year. They held the dances. This is for disabled adults 21 and up or 18 and up, where the Circle of Friends, a couple in town started the group 12 years ago, and it helps these adults with activities and to have dances for them. So we were holding them in Taylor Pavilion, but Saturday will be held here in the gym. And I highly recommend anybody sometime to attend one of their dances. It's absolutely wonderful. We're looking to pull together or have a meeting to discuss the Belmar Strong Beach celebration. It's going to be the opening of the beach with the ribbon cutting for the boardwalk, and we're targeting Wednesday, the 22nd. And I know Claire, will you be discussing the blood drive? Okay. And Claire, we're discussing the blood drive, and I've done this many times, but I highly advise you to get involved and donate blood anytime you can. I was told once it helps you lose weight, so anytime I hear about a blood drive, I go and do it. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. In the mayor's stead, I have his report. At the top of the page, it says good stuff, and I agree that it's all good stuff. The Buy a Board campaign is over $558,000. The beach badges are at 3,222, 38% over last year. With relief aid, we have awarded $266,000 in grants to 62 families who were displaced as of January 1st, 2013. Right now, we have $34,000 remaining in the Robin Hood money and there is a wait list of 16 families for Belmar money. We need to raise $80,000 to provide for everyone on the wait list. Please keep the names of the people receiving aid confidential. That goes for walk-ins and letters. Belmar.com, 38 families have been helped with zero amount of money left in the grant money. The Robin Hood Fund, 32 families have been helped, $29 million left in grant money. Oh, yeah, sorry,
I wish we had millions left.
extra zeros there.
Sorry.
That's all right. FEMA money, just over $2 million has been received so far by FEMA against our debris package of Cat A, moving to finalize at approximately $6.5 million. Emergency Cat B is estimated at $2 million. Project worksheet FEMA is drafting library, $300,000, marina, $4 million, boardwalk rebuilding, $10 million. Project updates, Epics is right on schedule. Ocean Avenue is open from 1st Avenue to 5th. Pilings and girders are completed, decking and stringers progressing, 52 workers on site, so that's moving along so beautifully. Boardwalk-related work on for tonight, utilities and concrete, precise construction of Freehold at $363,975. Railings for stairs and ramps, Mastercraft Iron of Neptune, $265,845. Notice a lot of these workers and construction people hired our local people, so I'm very happy about that. Electrical work for Boardwalk, Maggio and Son Electrical Incorporated of Neptune, $225,000. Other projects and works we are presently and recently working out to bid. 13th Avenue sewer and road repair. Tonight, Jazz of South River, $427,278. Sewer inspection and cleaning, work underway. Roof repair for Sandy-related damage. Library elevator, the work is underway. Library front entrance of stairs, work is underway. Pay stations for Ocean Avenue parking, bids open today, award next week. Marina Comfort Station number 2, work is underway. Marina electrical services, underway. Final contract, concrete work for Boardwalk pending technical review. For the Marina, 9th Avenue Pier and the Marina building will be operational for April 1, weather permitted. We will use the Marina building for one last season. Total Marina recovery, $4 million bond. DPW is conducting all the rest of the building rehabilitation in the Marina with several projects outstanding. Bond will require a 5% down payment of $200,000 in 2013 budget. 75% reimbursable by FEMA, which is $3 million. 25% on Belmar, which is $1 million. The debt service payments estimated 20 years at $70,000 a year, 30 years at $54,000 a year. Let me just see what else. There's lawn restoration for a previous contract with Mark W. Work will happen in the spring. New front stairs, work is underway. A-Tech Concrete of Edison with the lowest bidder. Work still to do on the generator. Okay. There's a water on 13th Avenue. Water main replacement is complete from B to Main. Yay. Jads Incorporated of South River won the contract for both the B to Main and the Ocean to B sewer and road improvements. We will advance an ordinance for water rates at the meeting in the near future. 6th Avenue road improvements and parking lot. Suspended for the storm. Work has commenced. Estimated completion date mid-April. Estimated parking spot increase over 100 slots, which is very much needed. Route 35 road resurfacing, suspended for the storm. Work to start again in early spring with an April 30th completion. Main Street resurfacing, county will pave 8th to 16th Avenue before summer. Work will be done at night. And I also have a brief report of my own. For the ladies, please remember our Women's Health Expo this Saturday, March 30th at 1 at our borough gym here on the premises. Easter egg hunt has been covered. Circle of Friends dance, a wonderful event. I look forward to that. Belmar Safety Days, organized by our Sergeant Tina Scott, will be held Sunday, May 5th, beginning at noon. The event will be held on the 12th Avenue and the field adjacent to Belmar School. A variety of safety programs will be set up. Captain McGovern and our entire police staff is involved, and it's a wonderful event, so congratulations to you, Chief. The preparation events of the day will all be taken care of by our police. There will also be food and fun activities for the children. The Belmar Women's Club is sponsoring a blood drive to benefit the Central Jersey Blood Center. The drive will take place on Wednesday, April 17th, 2013, from 3:30 to 7 at our First Aid Building corner of 9th and D. Also, our First Aid staff is holding a brunch for seniors on Sunday, April 7th, beginning at 11 o'clock. Good to know that the building is in good stead after Sandy. Check out our library activities now that the lower level has been beautifully renovated after the storm. Exercise programs and the opera series are now up and running again. And I heard something really wonderful. I was there for an exercise class, and as I was going into the library, there was a family, I believe, of a grandmother, a mother, and a child. And the comment was, what a wonderful group of people in this library. So I want to congratulate them for being the staff. So that was wonderful to hear. Also, I have an announcement to make. I will not be seeking re-election for my third term of office. This is my last term. I'll be finishing out the term through December 31st. So I would like you to know that. I would like you to know that the person who will be representing me, or not representing me, but taking my place on the Democrat ticket is going to be Janice Blackburn, who is very active in the community. She's on the Board of Adjustment, and she also is involved in the Housing Commission for our 710 federally funded building. So I'm very, very happy to announce that she will be running in my stead. The best part about this particular job that I've held for 6 years, and will continue to until the end of my term, was being with the people of Belmar and serving them. So it was my pleasure to do so. Thank you. Also, I would like to move now to approve the minutes. I move that the minutes of the regular meeting held on March 13, 2013, and the special meeting held on March 18, 2013 be approved as reported, and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second?
Councilman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nickman?
Yes.
Any people, is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak about the agenda? Any comments on the agenda, public session on the agenda, items only? Yes?
I don't want to, before I hand this to the police station, everybody lose their phone?
Any remarks, questions on the agenda session? Yes?
I think I'm probably marginal on whether it's agenda or not agenda. You're discussing the expenditures and the repairs and the ongoing work that's going on in the town. By the way, Gene Folker, 13th Avenue. I haven't heard anything in any of the plans about any of the repair work and to the damages done to the floating dock and the grounds in the air around down where FOPH is. And I'm wondering, what is the timeline? What is the plan for that? I know the sailing program has been suspended temporarily pending resolution and getting all that, all the repairs done down there. I'm wondering if we have an idea of what's going on with that.
Colin?
Sure, we've had a walkthrough with FEMA now of that area. We are doing our best to ascertain the full extent of the damage, trying to get quotes for that work, and working with our partners at the FOBH. So we do not have yet an estimated time when we think the work will commence. But just as we have wood docks that were damaged in the marina proper, we are tackling it and trying to get quotes for everything at once.
All right, so there's no timeline. Is a possibility that that will not be a program this summer.
I would hate that, but I'm not yet ready to say what it would be.
I would too, especially since we spent all that time and money getting the bar open, and we're not doing this for the kids. That I have to tell you is a little feather in my craw. That we expended all that energy and money on getting the 9th Avenue bar open, and this is an excellent program for the kids. We have a lot of bars in town. We have one sailing program. I think the priorities maybe we're a little confused on that. Thank you.
Colleen, didn't the 9th Avenue people pay for that?
Yes.
Yeah, the Belmar didn't pay for that. The person that owns it is paying for that.
Okay.
And isn't the sailing program a separate entity?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yes, it is, but it's my understanding that they cannot accept applications and cannot begin setting up their program for this summer until the town accomplishes repairs and renovations to the floating dock, which I believe is your responsibility, not theirs,
They are
and the area down there. So their program is being held in abeyance pending the repairs that the town needs to do.
They do use our docks, yes.
Right, yes.
But the repairs to the bar were done by the person that owns the bar.
Okay.
So, we want to make that straight.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else have comment on the agenda? Okay.
Motion by Cohen.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution,
Well, I think we found the owner of the missing phone. Thank you. I gotta say this, as soon as I saw him hold it up, I knew it was mine. I just played it quiet, figured I'd pick it up at the police station later. Thanks, George.
well played, George. Thank you, George. George saves the day.
I know, I didn't say the cops knew how to use it.
Okay.
Oh, boy, good.
The consent agenda, are there any of those resolutions that you would like taken out? Okay, we're good. Motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
The one before that, the resolution for payment of bills.
Oh, yes, resolution authorizing payment of bills.
I'll second it.
Councilwoman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Govers?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Real quick, I went through my phone. I received no notice of Kevin ever becoming director. And if you can produce an email that you did send, I will publicly apologize. But I received nothing until the meeting, and I just want to put that on the record. I vote yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Okay, now we can go to the consent agenda. Motion to approve the items on the consent agenda. So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Councilwoman Decky?
Yes.
Councilman Govers?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Okay, we have a second reading and public hearing on the ordinance 2013-04, an ordinance amending and supplementing chapter 40?
It's 40, yeah.
Yes, it's Roman numeral, so I had to think of an Excel. I think that's 40.
Yes.
Development regulations of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Belmar to allow height limitations conforming to base flood elevations. Any comments, questions? Would you explain a little bit about that, Colleen?
Sure, this is the ordinance that would provide for essentially an automatic variance for those who are elevating in order to comply with the advisory base flood elevations from FEMA. The pressing concern of council, of course, of mayor and the administration is that we do not want people who are doing their best to comply with FEMA and maximize their flood insurance rates to, for lack of a better word, hit their heads on the ceiling of the height restriction that town has in place. So this would provide for, again, an automatic variance if you are elevating in order to comply with the base flood elevations. This isn't necessarily to allow for somebody to put on a new floor of living space. This is to really ensure that you are adhering to the advisory base flood elevations and preparing for the next, hopefully will never come storm.
Kind of explain it, like, shockingly, my house is not in a flood zone, so I would not be allowed to raise my house.
Correct.
Somebody that is in a flood zone, they can raise their house from where the flood zone level is. So you can't just raise your house to get a better view of the ocean. You have to be in a flood zone.
Even if you had prior damage from the hurricane?
This really speaks to, that's correct, this speaks to what is evidenced on the new FEMA flood maps.
Okay? Any comments? Yes.
Gene Kramer, for Fourth Avenue, the Mount Arrow.
Excuse me, just for a sec. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say Fourth Avenue, the Mount Ararat section. This is a good ordinance, and I urge you to approve it tonight. For most of the town, this is a benefit, especially for those people that are in a flood zone. They would be able to raise their house the necessary amount and still go up the additional 35 feet, which is the maximum height limitation in town. But one thing about the wording, and I'll just mention it from experience, whenever regulation, when the public is regulated, with wording, it says, whichever imposes the most stringent requirement. Usually there's an upside and there's a downside. In other words, the most regulated requirement is the one that applies here. Like I said, most of the borough, because our properties are level, this works to their benefit. However, in areas that properties that are sloped or terraced, it can be a downside. In other words, if you live on Inlet Terrace, you may now have to measure the height of your house at the back of the house. I'm just bringing that to your attention. The other thing that I guess I'm concerned about with this sort of thing, and we've already seen an example on 706 D Street, where the homes are only 8 inches apart. You're going to have a home now that's going to be 6.5 feet higher than its next door neighbor. We propose to raise it to 6.5 feet. I just hope that we're not trading flood hazard for fire hazard. We didn't have any fatalities with the flooding. Fire is still our most life-threatening hazard that we have in town. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene.
We'll take that under advisement. Any other comments? Hearing none, we can do the vote.
Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Wait a second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we can vote. So motion to adopt the ordinance.
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Councilman Benson?
Yes.
Councilman Governor?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Now we are going to have the public session, and we're going to change things up a little bit. We will, and this is not anybody's idea but mine, so if anybody is having a problem with it, you can blame me. We will have one 5-minute session at the microphone per person. The mayor is not here to address some of the issues that directly impact him, so I believe that one 5-minute opportunity at the microphone would suffice. Anyone with comment? Yes, Mr. Strauss.
Give me a minute.
Take your time. We've got all the time in the world. It's early. It's only 6:45. Moving right along. Okay.
Bill Strauss, Oakwood Road. It's a shame the mayor's not here, because the one time I wanted to say thank you to him, he's not here.
Oh, wow.
Actually, to the mayor and to Colin Connolly for talking and communicating with Joe Skimmons over at Divers 2 to say that they are going to consider the diver access from McCleary Park. So I'm very happy that they actually are considering that. The other thing is I want to thank everybody on council for speaking into the microphone. I can hear everybody very well tonight, so I really appreciate that. I have 2 questions, and not to cause any trouble, just to clarify something.
All right.
I found something on a Oprah request. The council paid, I think the Port Authority, I think it was last year, about $5,000 for Bill Young's health insurance. Is that standard procedure?
That was, I believe, what was negotiated at the time that Bill Young came on board.
Okay, I mean, so it's like a compensation for him leaving them early or something like that? Something,
I'd have to look at
okay, I was just kind of curious. I saw it and I was like, what was it? The other thing was, we spent about $100,000 on gas in January for FEMA, or for Sandy. $100,000 seems like a lot. I broke that down, as like, we can't store gas, so what did it go for?
Well, a lot of it was used by borough vehicles, absolutely, but it was also used by contractors in town that we billed them for.
Oh, like they would get gas
Yeah.
driving their vehicles and their rigs and all that stuff? Okay, because $100,000 is,
We billed them at an upcharge.
okay, all right, thank you. That
Thank
was
you
it.
very much. Anyone else? Yes.
Ted Eman, Oakwood Road.
Yes.
I'm still having problems. Last Borough Council meeting, there was the change order.
Yes.
And I'm trying to get my hands around, do we have a signed contract with Epic for 11 million?
Yes,
So I can over-request that? All right, because what I was trying to figure out how that happened, because I was at every meeting, and I know that there was the bid, and that there was the resolution awarding the 6.6, and I didn't know.
The resolution awarded the 11 point, I can't remember, .085 or something like that.
Okay,
That was the resolution.
that was
The resolution awarded the full contract.
11?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
thank you. Anyone else, comments? Mr. Seebeck?
Mike Seebeck, 110 Second Avenue. Good evening, everybody. Council President Dyke.
Mr. Seebeck?
This evening, we were just talking about the marina, and it's my understanding that a presentation was made to the residents of Rhode Island Point regarding the reworking of McCleary Park.
That's right.
Is that part of the $4 million marina project?
No, it's not. It's just a concept and consideration developed by Birdsall. It was something that the mayor wanted to throw out, per se, to the residents of Rhode Island Point to get their opinions, ideas, and I think the meeting was most beneficial to all those in attendance.
Well, okay. And did you attend?
I did.
Okay. Why wouldn't that be presented at a council meeting in addition for the rest of the residents?
Well, I know that the people in that area, having lived there and dealt with some issues, are passionate about that particular zone of McCleary Park. They're very, very protective of it. I learned that personally. They're very careful about what goes on there. We have residents in that area who oversee it. You know, they personally know what's going on. And I don't know the answer to that question, but I thought it was appropriate.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I work with Dave Burns, who runs the sailing program. I'm passionate about the sailing program. I help out over there. And the McCleary Park field, I think, is very important.
Good.
So I would like to be equally advised, and I am equally as passionate about what goes on in this town.
Great.
Which leads me to a follow-on question I have about the situation with Birdsall now, which has taken on a much more serious level in the case of accounts being frozen and some of their ability to conduct business, as we have a number of projects out with them. And clearly a report had picked up that this could impact their ability to service their customers. Why would you not want to discuss the Birdsall situation in public? You mentioned this evening that you would go to closed session on that.
I just meant, you know, I'm not sure about how that would be handled. I just threw that out there.
Okay.
I don't know that it would necessarily have to go into closed session if we discuss people, maybe. That was just an offhanded remark, so that I certainly wouldn't be held to that in any way, shape, or form. We certainly could discuss it. When Councilman Bean had mentioned that at the beginning of his report, we did address it and say that, you know, with all that we have going on, it might be a good idea to retain them until the projects were complete. So I don't know about that. But certainly, you know, that's up to the attorney. Can we discuss all that in public, or is that privileged information regarding, because individuals are involved? I'm not sure of that legally.
Great. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Birdsall. I don't know if the news just broke today. I don't know whether it's a civil issue, a criminal issue.
It's that.
I'm sorry?
It's that. People are being, you know, looked at very carefully, and indicted, and that kind of thing. It's all public information. My sense is whenever, you know, if any kind of personnel issue, I don't know, Mr. Seebeck, if that's appropriate to meet in closed session. Let's hear from the attorney.
Well, not knowing what the total scope of what's going on with
It's
Birdsall
huge.
now.
It's
Okay.
taken on a life of its own.
All right. I think that the appropriate initial discussions should not take place in open session. That they
So
should
I was
take
not
place in
wrong on
closed
that.
session.
Well, Council President, like, I never said you were wrong. All I said is that we
Fully
retain
understand
them as our engineering firm, and I, like many other taxpayers, are interested in hearing about how things are going to be handled. Which leads me to even, you know, the meetings that go on, how much of the council is advised about change orders, contracts? When is the council advised? How much time do you have to do your job as my representative on these issues? It's my understanding now that we're getting information to you people to vote on the day of the meeting in cases regarding contracts. Is that fair to you? Is that fair to us? Is that adequate time to review these things? The lighting, for instance, the lighting in particular, I believe, was changed the afternoon of the vote.
Colleen, last meeting, I know that we had stated, and the mayor had stated, that since we hired, different contractors or people to do the work that we've already contracted them for, if there is any type of change, we leave to their discretion and their expertise and knowledge of doing that. So
Well, there are risks in that, Councilwoman Nicolay. You are responsible for voting on this stuff. So while they may decide to make change, ultimately you vote on it, and you're representing us when you do so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would like to make sure that, people are getting information in an adequate time and that things are being done transparently. That's why when I get very concerned when I hear about things being done in closed session. Well, Council President Beck, you said closed session this evening. That's why I'm bringing up this question. The more transparency we have.
That was confirmed by the attorney. Let me just tell you this. Since...
No, I believe what the attorney said accurately was he's not sure of the situation and whether it is a closed session item or it isn't.
I think you misheard him. I think you misheard him. Could you repeat what you said?
My sense is that with regard to Birdsall, that any initial discussions or evaluations should take place in closed session. But my sense is that you've gone beyond that now to sort of policy issues about whether sessions should be open or closed. And as you know, the council takes care of a lot of business in closed session. So I'm not quite sure where you're...
Council, what business typically is done in closed session?
I'm going to just tell you that since my second term in office, and most of my first term, I don't believe we've had a closed session meeting. I can't remember when. So that idea of not us doing things in closed session and not having transparency is a false idea. I'm sorry to tell you.
Council President Becky, I didn't say that. I said you brought it up this evening. You said we'll discuss this in a closed session.
This one issue.
What?
I don't know where you're coming from.
Where I'm coming from is I would like things to be discussed in the open, in public, and more information, transparency.
We have it.
Hold on, you know what, last meeting, an hour before the vote, I was handed the new copy of what the lights are gonna look like. I had no idea. And now today, with the rec director job, they're all telling me, oh, we all got the emails. I never got the emails. So we can all sit there and laugh, ha ha ha, or rap that.
How can you vote on something, Councilman Bean, if you're getting an hour before you're voting on it?
You know what, because I read through it real quick, I looked at the pictures.
But is that enough time to do your job? It doesn't sound like it.
You know what, I would like more time, but I had to make a decision.
I think you should all have more time. That's my point, Council President
Thank you
Becky.
very much. 5 minutes up?
Yes.
Thank you. We have another meeting next Wednesday, Mr. Seebeck. You're certainly welcome to come back and continue this discussion. Yes. Dr. Forte. 5 minutes.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I just want
I
you...
need your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Robert Forte, 114 8th Avenue, Belmar. I've been watching the progression of the building of the boardwalk.
Yes.
And I took it upon myself to check, because I have a little engineering background as well. And I noticed that along the way, some of the strappings, the stainless steel strappings between the two beams, the joists and the stringers were missing. And I kept a close eye on that and took some pictures. But I went down Sunday and I noticed Birdsall's truck was on the boardwalk. I asked the fellows, could you put these straps in after the boardwalk, after the stringers? And they said yes, and they were doing a good job. So I wasn't going to mention it. But what concerns me now, after hearing this, I have no idea what's going on with Birdsall, except that I did see the truck and I figured they're checking on it. Are there any contingency plans, if they're freezing accounts, are there any contingency plans by the borough to have somebody else, if suddenly nobody's checking because Birdsall is in, whatever they're in financial problems, and nobody's paying the inspectors, is there any contingency plan to check the boardwalk and making sure they put the straps in and making sure they're doing the job it's supposed to do?
I think your points are very well taken,
That's all.
and I think that we should definitely look into that, and at some kind of a plan, in case they cannot continue for whatever reason, and we bring maybe other people on board so that if there needs to be a transition, that in fact would take place.
No, I couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Connie, name, someone.
Connie Calaboris, 1002 Main Street.
Yeah.
Mine is different. Mine, I need your help. I've been asking April for help with a tree in the backyard. Where I observed with the owner, Bill, whatever his last name, that's 1006, what he did to the tree, never in my life I ever seen. He cut all the roots, and he buried the main thing, and he left for that tree to be with any wind to love either iPhone size or my size, or I want to know who's going to get the responsibilities when that tree fell, either kill any of us or hurt any of us, or property, or tenants might have a tenant that come into the rear of the property.
Is it on your property?
No, it's on somebody else, but what he did, to make it sure he don't want to cut cost money, and he took all the roots, carry all the roots, put 2 helpers, and then put the door top just so easy to one that wind flow. Come down easiest way so he don't have to pay. That's wrong, very wrong. I need your help. I asked you a long time ago. I Mrs. Kerr, I went to the, everywhere I tried to do that thing because it's very dangerous before somebody's get killed by ignorant people.
We'll look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we ask the attorney? What do you think that would be? Private property, someone intentionally, we don't know what he's doing. If you, who would she complain to so that if it does fall down, he would be liable for its falling down?
Police department?
I did.
I mean, I think this is something that we can have our code
I done
enforcement.
everything I can.
Code enforcement would give us some
I done,
information.
but now he cut him all the roots.
Well, actually,
Make it easy to
tomorrow I'm having a meeting with this gentleman that's going to give the community service. He is a certified forest person. I could probably ask him to look at it to see if it is a hazardous tree. And if it's a hazardous tree, and you can see if it was done intentionally, then if something happens, then he's insurance, he's liable,
I don't
I would
want to
think,
see
right?
anybody
He
together.
does it intentionally?
Please.
If just nature takes it down, it's act of God, right?
I want to be able to be on my backyard.
Yes.
I wanted to not to leave my car, park my car on the street and look around what they remember. If it's this way, that way,
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna, did you have a question?
please, help me.
You.
I don't know how to write
You're
it.
gonna say something?
No.
I talked to that person. I'm sorry, he's,
We're gonna look into that, Connie,
please.
and we'll get back to you.
Don't go back on to me, just make it that tree to be taken care of.
Got you, I get it. Anyone else? Mr. Schneck?
David Schneck, 302 C Street. About the website, not only are there some broken links, but, this is like the 4th time I've asked about this. All the archives are still gone. All the minutes of the meetings, all the different commissions, Harbor Commission, zoning, planning board, the council meetings, everything from before when they switched to the new website is still gone, And this is about, the 4th time I've asked about this, and it's, I think it's really a problem, We can't even go look back at the minutes of a meeting that happened less than a year ago, And it's not the first time I've asked about this.
We're aware. No, we're aware of the backlog, and we are doing our best to address it. It's just that,
All the campaign reports too, incidentally, all the campaign filings, everything, there's nothing there that that existed before the new website was installed.
Okay, we'll take a look.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Burke?
Yeah, Tom Burke, 608 10th Avenue. You may recall back in February, I submitted to council a petition to create a local ethics board.
Yes.
And I asked for some feedback from council members on it. I did get feedback. And I want to share the feedback with you along with some of my reactions to the feedback.
Okay.
My reactions are based on the law that I cited and the situations that I felt brought this to necessity. I'm going to share this with you. However, at this time, I am going to advise you that I am withdrawing the petition for the present at the present time. I think it's a good petition. I wish you would take it into consideration based on what I present to you. If you feel it's worthy, feel free to bring it up yourself. If not, I may bring it back up later in the year.
All right.
Here's a copy for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else from the audience? Yes, Mr. Kramer.
Chief Kramer, 4th Avenue. Just a recommendation regarding Birdsall.
Yes.
I guess it was 2 meetings ago, their representatives were here and they did a presentation about the status of the project and so on. During that presentation, one of the Birdsall, I guess it was manager, whatever, engineer, mentioned that one of their service companies had performed a detailed survey of the beachfront. I think with uncertainty going forward with Birdsall, maybe one of the better things to do would be to nail down and make sure that the borough has all deliverables. No doubt we had paid for that survey, and whether the borough wanted to kick this job over to a Louis Berger or another engineering firm to take a look at, that information is very valuable, and having that information would make sure that the job doesn't get slowed down by a change in personnel. My own personal feeling about all that is that everybody in this world is replaceable, including Birdsall Engineering. I spent some time down by looking at the boardwalk now that it's open, not the boardwalk, but the roadway between 1st and 5th Avenue. And Belmar boardwalk reconstruction is on schedule for Memorial Day opening.
Correct.
And requires a skirt on Ocean Avenue for roads, on the Ocean Avenue roadside for safety and property protection reasons. Property protection reason could be right off the bat. I guess we've spent about, or are spending about $8 million. We have an $8 million investment built halfway into the roadway. I think we need some protection for that from roadway hazards, whether it's car, truck, whatever drives along and hits our brand new boardwalk. Actually, where this is all going is I'd like to make a recommendation that that the borough incorporate the New Jersey concrete barrier for the Belmar boardwalk skirt. The New Jersey concrete barrier was designed and engineered right here in Trenton, New Jersey, and it's world known and utilized all over the world. It is a safety standard. I had brought this up, by the way, there was a meeting last week with the boardwalk committee that was formed, and I guess they kicked it over to the engineer. I think this is something that could be done rather simply, since it is a standard design. And by the way, it would not require any CAFRA permit, because it would be work that's actually alongside the boardwalk and in the roadway. There's a couple of hazards, by the way, that I saw down there with the new boardwalk. The Trex deck, the saw cut sharps. This is a common problem with Trex material, that when you cut it with the saw, you can't sand it, you can't put a router edge on it. The edges are sharp, a lot of the people that have Trex decks on the back of their homes, this is a common problem. If you look on the internet, you'll see people have identified this as a problem. And Trex does not really have a way to solve that other than adding on some additional materials or otherwise. You can check this yourself when you go down to the beachfront. You check that edge on the edge of the board. And the herringbone pattern that we've incorporated down here actually made the situation worse because we're cutting hypotenuses now, which is the maximum dimension that you can have for cut edges. So that's one hazard. Another hazard is, I just wrote down here, under the boardwalk, and I'm not referring to the 1960 Drifter song here.
That's a good song.
But it is. But however, kids crawling underneath the boardwalk is not especially a good idea. And I think if we had the New Jersey concrete barrier on the roadway side of the boardwalk, that would eliminate both that problem and the Trex edge problem. The Trex edge, by the way, without something in front of it, would be a hazard to anybody on a bicycle riding alongside the boardwalk. And perhaps somebody trying to climb the boardwalk, especially if a youngster tries to climb on there. It's quite a sharp edge. We have to tell parents to bring some Band-Aids. The other thing that hazard that's there, of course, is motor vehicle movement and parking. And also there's the problem of wind-blown sand that many times out of the year, Ocean Avenue gets covered with sand and it's a maintenance problem that has to be cleaned up. One big advantage that I see of going with the New Jersey concrete barrier is that we would get an additional 32 inches of flood protection on the west side of Ocean Avenue if we had the barrier mounted against the boardwalk. And like I said, no CAFRA permit required. 32 inches of additional flood elevation, I think would help everybody. I guess there was some concern when I brought this up at the meeting.
Mr. Kramer, your time is up. You can bring, we have a meeting next week. Please bring your ideas back then. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir. Can you read your name?
My name is Jim Lester. I live on 10th Avenue in Belmar. I'm here.
Lester.
Hi. Thank you for letting me speak. I have an issue, a building issue.
Okay.
My wife and I own a house, 3-story Victorian, has 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor. We want to rent it out in the summer to make some money. We were told by the town that we couldn't use 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor in a summer rental unless we built a fire escape. So we had plans drawn, submitted, and they were approved by the building department, and we had our fire escape built. Then the code enforcement folks came to the house and said, you cannot have an egress window out of one of the bedroom windows. The bedroom couldn't be used because the egress window was in the bedroom. And I went back to the building department, and I said, you approved these plans, and the building folks said, well, we don't talk to the code people. So they got me a little bit upset. So then I asked the code folks, where in your code says you can't have an egress window out of the bedroom? And after some prodding, it took a while, 2 town officials came to my house and they handed me a single piece of paper, page 261 of the International Building Code, which says you cannot have an egress window in a bedroom. Well, the International Building Code does not cover residential buildings, it covers commercial buildings. So I was a little bit upset by that. They would hand me this piece of paper that doesn't apply to residential buildings. But I called the state, the Division of Codes and Standards, just to make sure. And they told me, you're correct. The International Building Code does not apply to you. The International Residence Code, New Jersey Edition, applies to you. Not only is your fire escape fine, the Belmar Code that makes me build one for a summer rental is not allowed under New Jersey codes. The Belmar Code exceeds New Jersey codes. So the state Division of Codes and Standards has sent a letter to Belmar back on February 21st informing the town that your codes exceed New Jersey codes. So I had plans for a fire escape. I submitted the plans. Plans were approved. Paid for the fire escape. Code officials said it doesn't pass code because of the egress window in the bedroom. They give me the International Building Code piece of paper which doesn't apply to me, and now the state says you didn't have to build a fire escape at all. So I have some paper here. I didn't want to overwhelm you, but I have a little bit of background. I have a letter from the state, and I have a picture of the fire escape. And I just really want to get this resolved. This has been going on for a long time. It doesn't seem that the folks in the building seem to talk to one another or want to talk to one another, or I guess they don't want to talk to me. I understand that. But I really would like to get this resolved in some one way or another.
The CIA doesn't talk to the FBI.
Yes, exactly.
April, you have background in code. Can you speak to this, and can you help us, Mr. Lester?
Pat Callahan and Neil Hamilton are code officials, and those are the ones that have been speaking with Mr. Lester about it. And I believe it's under, the letter we received is under review with the borough attorney.
I
Right,
spoke,
I've seen it.
yeah, I spoke with Michael DuPont this morning on this topic, and he has engaged our fire marshal to try to get a recommendation on the resolution. So as recently as this morning, we've had a conversation. Certainly understand the time that you've spent and been waiting for an answer.
Time and money.
I bet you are. So it is our hope to get you one very soon.
Mr. Washington, would you like to comment?
No, I've seen the letter. I've talked to Mr. DuPont about it, and I'm going to take a look at it further, talk to your building department, and get it resolved.
Okay, would you like a copy of my?
Sure. Do you want me to take care of that?
Sure, if you have one.
Sure. Thank you, and I hope, and I'm hopeful that it will be
Okay,
resolved.
if any would like to speak to me after the meeting, I'll be here.
Thank you very much.
I have my.
Okay. Any exercises?
Anyone else care to speak this evening? Yes. Louis Polito.
Everyone. Too close. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to congratulate you and thank you, Claire, for your many years of service to our town in Belmar, and I'm sure to continue your service even after you step down from your position as councilwoman. And I look forward to working with you going forward as well. I also want to thank the council for their attention to the needs of the residents of Belmar. Their progress on the boardwalk, the opening of Ocean Avenue from 1st to 5th is a great thing. Also, the recent meeting you had with the residents regarding McCleary Park is also another great sign that you are outreaching and discussing new ideas and stuff that could benefit the residents of Belmar. And I'm sure as that discussion goes forward, we'll hear more about what's going to happen there. So that's really just what I want to say. Thank you for everything you do. You guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
I just want to say how busy I got. My daughter made us ride our bikes from 1st to 5th, to 5th to 1st, to 1st to 5th. So I don't know if anyone's been up there. It's a beautiful sight to get closer to the ocean.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Sean Mazur. I am a contractor and home builder. I actually live in 1300 6th Avenue in Neptune. And I'm here with Mr. Lester and to support him through this issue. I'm also a senior project manager with Jim Wilson Architects and LBI. Through the course of dealing with this fire escape, I've had numerous erroneous references to code, which has been very, very frustrating. I've also talked to the state several times about this fire escape issue. And I just find it, very, very saddening that your code officials don't know the current code that's adopted by the state of New Jersey. And when they give references to erroneous codes, it really throws a wrench in the cogs. And you're trying to go back and forth and saying, why are you referencing 2012 International Building Code when the state of New Jersey hasn't even adopted that yet? We're still in 2009. And going back and forth, I won't mention any names, but going back and forth, I just found a complete lack of knowledge from some of your code officials. And if those people don't have the aptitude to hold those positions, they should step down, because it's really, really causing a lot of problems, especially from my point of view as I'm a contractor. I'm here to make money and get the job done and do the right thing. Obviously protect the health and safety and life of people as well. So when you get references that make no sense, you get things that are obviously requirements that aren't required by the state but are required by the local jurisdiction here, and they conflict with one another, and the state's writing you letters saying that these code references, cannot exceed the state codes. So it becomes very frustrating, and I just want you all to take that into consideration.
We appreciate your ideas, and I agree with you, and we will certainly try to rectify all those matters that you referenced.
Thank you.
Can I ask one question? You mentioned 2009 and 2013. What was that?
New Jersey, if you go to the Division of Consumer Affairs website, they have the adopted code of New Jersey. We've adopted the 2009 International Residential Code. That's the current code that's adopted for residential.
2009.
Your code department is giving us references for 2012 International Code, which has not been adopted by the state. The state of New Jersey has, for instance, they have a 2009 International Residential Code, the New Jersey edition. It's specifically for New Jersey. Same thing goes with International Building Code. They have a New Jersey edition. The code references that your code people here are giving us are straight 2012 International Code, which is no edition, no New Jersey edition. It's just, it's just an arbitrary. Some other states use it, but not the state of New Jersey. So it really concerns me that you guys aren't looking at the right codes for our own state.
Jim, can I ask what's the address, because that's not listed anywhere on this.
511?
511.
511 10th Avenue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll certainly look into that. Anyone else? Comment? Yes. Mr. Thielen?
We're dealing with 15th Avenue. My question is, are you going to accept applications for the rec job or not? And the reason I say is because my son has applied for the job. He was on a list, and he was called in about 3 weeks ago. And nothing against Ray, because I've known Ray since he's been this high as a tadpole, and the same with April. He was put on the list, and I don't know where he was on that list, but my concerns is that he is eligible. He is a citizen of this country. He devoted his time to this country. He was over in Iraq. And he's also a borough resident. And he's been raised in this town for years. He was in the rec department when I was there as an assistant to Tom Hope. And I don't want him to come in here and have a 15-minute discussion and say, oh, we've already have someone in mind. So I hopefully that you will pursue it a little bit more than this person, this person. Let's have an interview that is an interview. Let's find out what the backgrounds are for these people. And I know it'll be up to Colleen, and I'm assuming it would be up to Mr. McGovern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Jim Rice, Wall, New Jersey. Just understand that there were some meetings earlier today and maybe a day or two ago with respect to the marina and the building of a new facility there.
Yes.
And in those meetings, I guess they're just private meetings that were held, the new building that's being now contemplated there, my understanding is that there's been a significant change from the initial RFP.
I think that maybe at one time we had planned for a 2-story. It sounds like it's going to be 1 story.
I think, this is still in draft form, and I would expect a presentation to council in the upcoming weeks.
Yes, next week will be hopefully a
So there will be a presentation to council of what the proposals will be.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, very good.
Thank you. Anyone else? No one? Hearing no more takers, I will make a motion to close public session and adjourn.
Second.
Thank you for coming out tonight, everyone.